And let's begin with all the updates you need to know this morning on Cyclone Yaas. Set to make landfall in Odisha in a few hours from now. The cyclone, according to the Met Department, is likely to make landfall near between Dhamra and Balasore in Odisha at around noon. Wind speeds picking up to 130 to 140 kilometers per hour, could go up to a maximum of 155 kilometers per hour. Now, the Met Department has said it will cause maximum damage in Dhamra and Chandbali in Bhadrak and Balasore districts. Now, the Odisha government has evacuated 3.54 lakh people in 7 districts of the state to safer locations. This as the Met Department has predicted that the cyclone is going to intensify into a very severe cyclonic storm before it really makes landfall. Bhubaneswar, Rourkela and Jharsuguda airport in Odisha will remain closed today. In Bengal, East Mednipur and also South 24 Parganas districts, according to the Met Department, will be the worst affected. The storm is expected to pass through these 2 districts at a speed of 90 to 120 kilometers per hour. At this point, as a precautionary measure, over 11 lakh people have been evacuated from coastal regions of the state. In view of the weather warning, flight operations at the Kolkata airport has been suspended till 7:45 p.m. Durgapur airport will also remain closed today.
Actually, the very severe cyclonic storm that that is now over northwest Bay of Bengal, and it is moving at a speed of 15 km per hour in the direction of northwestward. It is about 60 km east from Dhamra and about east-northeast of Balasore. Around it is about 90 km. And apart from that, we are expecting, since it's moving at a speed of 15 km per hour in northwest direction, we are expecting it will reach the coast very near and make landfall process will start during noon hour of today.
And let's get you the latest updates from the ground. We've got our reporters spread across the coastal districts of Odisha and West Bengal to tell you of the kind of preparations on the ground. What's the impact of the cyclone going to be like? Kamaljeet Sandhu is joining us live from Balasore in Odisha. We also have Suryagni Roy reporting from the Sundarbans in West Bengal. First to Kamaljeet Sandhu. Kamaljeet, where you're standing, Balasore district is where it was initially expected that the eye of the storm will pass through. I can already see the impact of the cyclone being felt around you. Just tell us what's expected according to the Met Department in the coastal parts of Odisha.
Well, things have been very unpredictable here, and as the cyclone is extremely severe, behind me are high tides going up to 10 feet. The water almost reaching the top. So this is how things stand as of now. Strong gusty winds at the rate of 130 kilometers per hour. Difficult to even stand here. But if I show you around, some of the people are out here. These are local residents who've not seen much of action in several days, but out here taking cyclone selfies. But this could be potentially dangerous. Announcements have been made throughout the day yesterday for all these villages not to venture out. But yes, it's time where things have to be under control. The state government as well as the NDRF, the Navy, all have been on standby. Several villages near the coastal areas have been evacuated. Now, till late last night, around 3.5 lakh people have been moved out. We'll just try and get you a sense from all these people who've been standing here. You know, you're all out here. आप लोग सब लोग बाहर हैं यहाँ पर और cyclone चल रहा है. आप अंदर नहीं हैं?
अंदर थे हम लोग. कितना घंटा और बैठे हैं वहाँ पे अंदर थोड़ा आगे देखने के लिए.
यहाँ पे पूरी रात भर घोषणा हुई है, सुबह भी घोषणा की जा रही है कि नहीं जाना चाहिए बाहर.
फिर भी बैठ के हम लोग देखते हैं कैसे क्या आ रहा है तूफान साइक्लोन कैसे.
आपको अंदर होना चाहिए. You know, for us it's a necessity because we're trying to get visuals for our viewers out here. But yes, if we show you the number of people who are out here, which is slightly more than what we saw in the morning. So all these people are here, some of them taking pictures. But clearly the tide itself will tell you that this is a warning sign, and in time this is only going to increase. So the water, which is, if you can see the steps, you will know, you'll understand how strong these tides are, and this itself is an indication that Cyclone Yaas has knocked on the doors of Balasore, and now this city is prepared to take on this particular cyclone. Prayers for the city as well as the other coastal areas of Odisha and West Bengal. But the preparations are here being done with evacuation. Yes, the concern is more regarding the hospitals and regarding the ICU beds and oxygen. But even there, most of them have told us that preparations are being done with several days of backup being done so that there is non-stop supply of electricity in those particular departments where it is extremely essential. Where we are, there is no electricity in the last 24 hours or so.
Right.
And this is how things really stand in Balasore.
Okay, so we can see that, already the impact of the storm being felt there. The last thing we need is curious people to step out. It's dangerous out there. Stay inside your homes and we'll get you the latest updates you need to know. A lot of excitement, curiosity, but that's something that immediately must be addressed by the authorities also, so people do not put their lives at risk. Before I get you an update on the situation in West Bengal, I just want to show you the trajectory of the system. How is the cyclonic storm going to be moving? Which are going to be the worst affected parts right now in the country because of Cyclone Yaas. Now let's just show you how this particular cyclone is moving. This, you can see, hits North Odisha as well as coastal parts of West Bengal. According to the Met Department, in a few hours from now, you're going to be seeing the eye of the storm actually move towards the coast, and that's when the maximum impact of the cyclonic storm will be felt in both Odisha as well as West Bengal. At this point, the highest alert has been issued in the northern coastal districts of Odisha, which means places like Dhamra, Balasore is where there's a high alert. Even in places like Bhubaneswar, there will be a lot of heavy rains. Wind speeds will pick up there too. So important for everyone to follow the advisory issued by the authorities. Similarly, in West Bengal, it is the East, West, Midnapur districts, South 24 Parganas districts that will be the worst affected, the coastal parts. Kolkata, again, there will be rain. Wind speeds will pick up. So ensure that you stay indoors for the next 24 hours. As I mentioned, landfall expected by noon. And that's when you will face the worst of this cyclone. Let's get you an update also from West Bengal. Suryagni Roy is joining us from Sundarban in Bengal. It's a coastal district and you can already see the impact of the cyclone being felt in this part. But Suryagni, just take us through the kind of steps authorities have taken so far in coastal districts of Bengal to ensure that the impact of the cyclone is kept to a minimum.
Well, Akshita, firstly, I would just like to show you the current visuals of Pokhali in South 24 Parganas. Just look at this particular, the rough seas, how violent these seas have suddenly become. We are tracking this area since the past 24 hours, but these rough tides is something that we are seeing for the first time since the past 24 hours. Now, when it comes to evacuation, almost 8 lakh plus people have been evacuated by the West Bengal government, especially in the coastal areas. Right now, once again, these, the sea water is slowly sweeping in towards the coast. This is something that we are witnessing since morning. Now, there is a high alert and people have been asked to vacate this entire area as these are, completely tourist areas. There has been no tourist business, and that is the reason why a lot of these people had already evacuated their shops and thatched roof restaurants. Right now, almost 250,000 people have been evacuated from South 24 Parganas alone. Just look at this scenario. Completely, it's
stay safe.
Extremely rough over here. The wind speed is high. These tides are lashing on the coast. It is becoming, slowly and steadily, we are understanding the impact of this particular severe cyclone that will be making landfall in Odisha. Will also face an impact. Back to you.
Suryagni, stay safe out there. Very, very difficult circumstances to report in. We completely understand that. But also, we are continuing to get the latest updates for our viewers out there on this particular cyclone. We've been talking about how this is a very, very serious situation in states like Odisha and West Bengal. They're having to deal with the pandemic, and at the same time, you're having this kind of a cyclone hit them. If Suryagni is still with us, Suryagni, if you can hear me, because you are in the midst of right now the brunt of that cyclonic storm. At this point, you know, West Bengal is one of the worst affected states also by COVID-19 if you look at the numbers. Keeping that in mind, what are the steps the administration has taken to address that problem of ensuring that hospitals are also safe amid this cyclone?
Well, Akshita, if we just look at the, the COVID-19 situation, West Bengal is one of the states which have been affected very, very badly. The 17th.
Apologies, we have lost our connection with Suryagni. He's reporting from the coastal districts of West Bengal, and you can really see from his live reports the impact of the cyclone already being felt. But according to the Met Department, in a few more hours is when the eye of the storm will really make landfall. That's when the maximum impact will be felt. So this right now, what you're seeing in Suryagni's live reports is not even the maximum impact. This is in fact the outer bands of rain and wind that is lashing these parts of Bengal and Odisha. So the impact of the cyclone already being felt in these parts. But what we're seeing is a lot of evacuation operations that have already taken place in the last 2 days to ensure that the kind of casualties that are reported in the cyclonic storm is kept to a minimum. The Indian Army's Eastern Command is also on standby for the rescue and relief operations. A total of 17 integrated cyclone relief columns comprising of specialized personnel with associated equipment, inflatable boats have been deployed. Columns have been pre-positioned at Purulia, at Jharkhand, Birbhum, Bardhaman districts. You've got in West Mednipur, in Howrah, Hooghly as well. Teams being deployed and on standby here. 9 cyclone relief columns have also been kept on standby in Kolkata in case there's a need for them to be out there in these districts and to be deployed at short notice. 4 naval ships are on standby with humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, with diving and medical teams to render assistance. Naval aircraft have been kept ready at the naval air stations to undertake aerial surveys and airdrop relief material if there's a need for that. Indrajit Kundu is joining us live now from Kolkata. Indrajit, good morning. We're seeing that the impact of the cyclonic storm is already being felt in most parts of West Bengal, particularly the coastal districts. What's the situation in Kolkata? If you could also give us a roundup of the kind of rescue and relief teams who are currently deployed there.
Well, morning, Akshita. It's overcast conditions, very much evident, as you can see here in Kolkata. And the impact of the cyclone, of course, the cyclonic depression, is being felt across Gangetic West Bengal, especially more so in the coastal districts of South 24 Pargana and East Midnapur districts. But, the memories of Cyclone Amphan last year is very, very is fresh in the minds of people, especially residents here in Kolkata, because Kolkata is a place which really bore the brunt of the cyclone last year. And the fear was, and the fear still is, that there will be several trees that might get uprooted and block the roads. And we are outside the iconic Victoria Memorial, and I will ask my camera person to zoom and show how already we can see fully grown trees that have been uprooted and that have fallen, along with the lamp posts due to the gusty winds that we've experienced since last night. It's continuously drizzling right now. The wind speed isn't that high right now, but we can expect the wind speed to go up. At the same time, the drizzling, the raining will also be very, very heavy in hours to come as we move slowly towards the landfall later in the afternoon. So it's going to be very overcast conditions, heavy rainfall here in Kolkata. People, of course, have been asked not to venture out unless and until it is very, very emergency, during a medical emergency. And as we have been stating, about 11 lakh people have been evacuated from all the coastal areas. That's what Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee informed us last night. She is, of course, holed up at the State Secretariat over the past entire night, and she's going to be there all through the day today at the centralized control room at the Bengal State Secretariat, monitoring the situation. There are control rooms that have been opened by the Kolkata Municipal Corporation because their task is cut out. You have to clear debris like these in case that is obstructing the road for easy movement of the fire department vehicles, the municipal vehicles. At the same time, all major flyovers in Kolkata have now been completely barricaded so that there is no vehicular or traffic movement. The only good part, of course, is that we are in the midst of a lockdown here in West Bengal, and therefore, in general, shops and other establishments are shut and people are normally not venturing out on the streets.
Let's hope that the damage is minimal because of this cyclone, particularly in the coastal districts, which according to the Met Department will be worst affected. Indrajit, thank you for joining us with that report from Kolkata. Let's focus on Odisha. The Met Department has said that it is north coastal Odisha that will be the worst impacted by the cyclone, and this is a twin challenge for the state. It braces for this monster storm in the midst of the second COVID wave. Authorities are on alert. A massive evacuation drive has taken place at the coastal areas, but maintaining social distancing at relief camps, for example, is proving to be a huge challenge.
The boats are anchored. Fishermen are cocooned in their homes. In Balasore, where Cyclone Yaas could have maximum impact, officials are on an overdrive to evacuate as many people as possible.
लगभग हमारा टारगेट है आज पर द पॉपुलेशन जो लोग कच्चा हाउस में रहते हैं 10 से 12,000 लोग हैं जिनको हमको इवैक्यूएशन करना है। ऑलरेडी कल से हम लोग ने स्टार्ट कर दिया है। अराउंड 2,000 लोग इवैक्यूएशन हो चुके हैं और जहां डेंजर जोन है इस एरिया में, कोस्टल एरिया में जो गांव है वो पूरा हम लोग खाली करवाएंगे।
At this Mirzapur multi-purpose cyclone relief shelter, the rooms are crammed, but for these villagers, it means a safe haven.
There are small rooms because this is a school which has now been converted into a shelter. Storms are not something which is new to Odisha. They have almost zero casualty. But what is important and significant is that this is now turning out to be a double whammy because social distancing is a challenge. But that too will be taken care of because obviously it's a united effort by all central agencies as well as the state police force that they need to tide by this particular challenge.
Only the fear of COVID infection is playing on their minds.
सब खाना पीना देखना सुनना सब भी ठीक है, कोई तकलीफ नहीं है, लेकिन तकलीफ एक ही बार जो परिष्कार नहीं है। अभी कोरोना का टाइम है, परिष्कार होना जरूरी है। इसको परिष्कार करने के लिए कुछ बंदोबस्त नहीं करते।
The cyclone is coming at a time when many are battling the virus in hospitals.
We have got DG sets, 5 DG sets we have got. That is sufficient power backup is there also. And we have got sufficient dual stock also with their fuels. So there will be no scarcity of the fuels also.
Odisha faces a double whammy, a monster storm and a monster virus together.
That all necessary precautions have been taken for this cyclone.
Now the onus is on the government to maintain life-saving supplies for hospitals in this twin crisis. With Kamaljit Sandhu in Balasore, Bureau Report, India Today.
We'll continue getting you all the latest and live updates on Cyclone Yaas.